Hi there, yep, NickDutch again. Just very quickly, I just want to lay down my stance, my point of view, what I'm about, because I don't think my previous videos on YouTube have made that perfectly clear. Yes, number one, I am a professional tarot reader. This is an entertainment service. That's why it says it's an entertainment service on my website. Okay, it's not just because of the law. I mean, that's why people like me are hired as entertainers in parties and in events, alright? Because it is an entertainment service. If it was considered to be anything else, I'm sure that I would probably be invited to participate in the House of Commons or the House of Lords, and I'll be heavily involved in policy making and working out what policies would be the best for the nation, or using a pendulum to try and work out what particular pill someone might take if I was in a hospital. It doesn't, that isn't right. As a supernaturalist, I do something which is regular attempts to perform things of a miraculous or supernatural nature, okay, which comes under the term of magic, because I define magic in accordance with my writings, in accordance with my various blogs and video blogs, as an attempt to be miraculous, an attempt to try and do things via supernatural means, using supernatural ideas and methodologies, okay? And as such, we have to separate what I do on the magical side of things, which I try and analyze as best I can with scientific thinking, because I see the word science to be a methodology of investigation into nature, a stance of perception and understanding. It's not a question of saying, yeah, what I do is a science, therefore I'm going to get 100% reliable results, because that isn't true. Even a scientist who is doing an experiment is not doing it to prove that something's right. He's doing it to investigate the way that nature works. I do agree that some of my clients come to me with rather extreme ideas. Earlier on today I have turned away and blocked 2 customers who had taken the wrong attitude, so I haven't taken any money from them. I've just suggested that they find another way of sorting out the issue in question, such as, write down various different points of view with a pen and paper, just write down columns of one argument, the other argument, sit down, try and work out the other ramifications, and try and come to a conclusion that way. Don't try and find a conclusion on the same day. Come back to it after you've had a break or a sleep or a cup of coffee or whatever, and then sort it out that way. Or in some cases, just go and talk to the person you need to sort this problem out with, or get some specialist legal help. This is one thing that this is what I'm doing, and I'm not charging these people any money for this, because I'm pointing them in the right direction, alright? I know that, to the most part, my tarot clients just need someone to talk to who has some understanding of counseling methodology, as well as some of the various mystical and intriguing ideas that we have in the tarot, for instance, alright? And that's a function that I fulfill, that I'm very proud to be fulfilling. And yes, I do try and help people. People do object to the wording on my advertising and marketing. Okay, but that is the industry standard wording on advertising and marketing. I mean, if you were selling a product, you would say this is a good product. That's essentially what I'm doing. And I'm making sure I do not act unethically. I never ever do a reading on medical matters, on childbirth, on when someone's going to get married. When I've had people approach me saying, "Can you tell me what disease I've got?" I fucking can't. Okay. So I turn these people away because it is wrong to do that. There are other professionals in the world who are designed to help with these things. Some people say, "Look, I'll pay you £100 if you cast for me a money spell." I say, come on. If you need more money, you can start by not spending money on psychics just for the moment, okay? See this as fun, see this as entertainment, see this as a variety of therapy. And just look after your money and where it's going. If you're looking for a job, go and look for a job. You don't have to discuss it with me. Spend some time in the recruitment industry, not only working for a recruitment company, but also for doing self-employed recruitment. So I can advise you. We can, think about your CV or your resume, and we can discuss it. And yes, I can apply a bit of a reading as well to help you out. I do actually believe in what I do, as far as tarot readings are concerned. And yeah, it does frighten me because I get things right. And when I get things right, which is a lot, and people come back and say you got this right, and basically I was just saying what I was seeing, it's worrying. The supernatural things just happen. Yes, I do perform activities of ritual magic, and I don't guarantee results from that, but once in a while you do get the most amazing and staggering results, which is terrific. I do exercises of astral projection. I mean, a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about today, I'm explaining in greater detail in my writings. The first book is already out there on the Lulu Marketplace. I'm getting a second one written now, which is just explaining things in greater detail. The first one was more about attitude, and also done in a very light-hearted style. Yes, I admit the grammar and the spelling is probably pretty substandard, but the argument is, alright, I reckon, but never mind. And I'm also trying to go through some of the ideas that a lot of other people have written about, and they are saying, oh, this is magic, that's magic, when basically it isn't. It's like a religious school of thought or a self-development school of thought, or it's a question of something like Masonic Lodge initiations to try and bring people up to a certain level of understanding in accordance with one particular school of thought, and that's got to be cut out of the definition of magic as well, because I feel that that's actually misleading to call these things magic, because it is. What can I say? I'm trying to do my work in an ethical manner. I'm trying to do my work in an upright, responsible way, and I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to make it less likely the client is going to end up believing a lot of rubbish. And I'm trying to bring people back to planet Earth. I've had people, ask me what planet their soul came from. I mean, for crying out loud, you've got more important things to think about. The economy's going down the pan, you got to think about your job, you got to think about money, you got to think about your family, your relationships, looking after yourself, caring for your diet and exercise and all the rest of it. And there's you worried about, which planet your soul comes from, for Christ's sakes. I mean, I do try and help people just to focus on that which is more important than some of the various issues going on inside their minds. This is an important service. Yes, this is this tarot reading and all the rest of it is my sole income now. That's the way it is, and I'm earning very, very, very little doing it. That's why my hours are so long. And I don't have some of the coolest hardware that I'd like to have, and I don't have the greatest, I don't go out to some of the greatest events and restaurants and all the rest of that, because I just can't afford that. And it's quite a humble life in which I'm trying to use my skill with language, my understanding, everything from my education as well as like the supernatural stuff. I've done sociology, psychology, political theory, natural science, neuroscience, all sorts. I apply all of that. Of course, I study accountancy as well. Sometimes people bring me all kinds of business problems, and so this is a consultancy service. It's a live consultancy service, which I can get inspiration from whatever happens up here or whatever happens here, to try and help people out. I do hope I've explained myself well, and my goal here is to try and help people. I did want to have a job in which I was trying to help people. I don't want to sit on my arse and just extort money out of people's pockets, because I don't feel comfortable doing that. That's why I left various sales jobs when I was younger, because they graded against me badly. Okay, some of the jobs I left because I was treated like shit. But a lot of them I left because there was just something wrong. And I'm now doing something right. So anyway, good fortune and God bless. That's who I am and what I'm about. Anyway, bye.